This is a quick presentation on what it means to use a design brief. So what we're going to do is go over the basic structure of a design brief that we'll be using in class. Now, a design brief serves as an agreement between the client and the engineer. It's one way to define the problem that you're trying to solve. It's a concise document, it's brief, it's quick, it's easy, that basically clearly states the problems that you're trying to solve, the needs that you have, and details out how you will carry out some of those tasks. And let's go into each part of the design brief individually so you know what you're doing when you fill one of these out. Now, the first section is the client. Now, the client is usually the person, the company, an organization, or that target consumer group that has a problem that you as the engineer or the designer is trying to solve. In most of these cases, I will be the client. As the teacher, you're trying to present information to me or possibly the rest of the class to satisfy some kind of design problem. Now, the designer is the creative problem solver. Essentially, it's you. So your name would go here. Now, the problem statement, it basically clearly, precisely, concisely identifies what the problem is. So let me give you an example of that. Here's an example of a good problem statement. As it says here, my school locker is a mess. I can never find a pen, pencil, or calculator. My homework is always getting lost. My lunch gets crushed under a sea of books and binders because of the clutter. It is hard to close my locker door completely. Now, what you'll notice here is that there's no statement about how to solve the problem. There's no discussion on how to do that or on possible solutions or designs or anything. It's just stating the problem, what the problem is, and that's what you should do in that problem statement, is just talk about what the actual problem is. Next is the actual design statement. Now, the design statement basically challenges the engineer to take some type of action and what they're going to do. So again, let me show you a quick example. So in this case, the problem statement reads, design, model, and test a high school locker organization system that will neatly contain items commonly used and kept at school. Now, what you'll notice is that there's no mention of the actual product that's going to be made. It's just it's just a statement saying what you want out of designing a solution, but it doesn't actually get into the actual details of that solution. Constraints. Now, we've talked about constraints before, and they can kind of be thought of as guidelines or even just rules that need to be followed, but it has to do with different things like the time that you have to create something, any safety concerns, budget, costs, codes, any physical attributes, the size of something, the weight of something, any kind of thing that would limit your desire to do what you think would be the ultimate in solving this problem. There's always constraints that limit how you can do that, even if it's just something as simple as just the time you have to build it. Okay? And then finally, there's the deliverables. Now, the deliverables are that end product, what you're hoping to show off to the client as proof of that your problem solving efforts or that whole design process. And it is listed here as is listed here. It's things like, it could be the initial sketches that you've done, it could be 3D CAD models, assemblies you've made, any kind of detailed technical drawings, some type of design journal that you've kept, prototypes that you've created, and summaries of your process. All these things are those proofs of action, and those are the things that I, as the client, would want to see. And in closing, the design brief, well, it basically helps you quickly, easily write a plan for how you will proceed with your design problem, and gives you an idea of the goals that you're trying to shoot for, and gives you essentially a checklist that you can go through and see if you're reaching some of those goals.